when I was in middle school, I think this is the earliest one that I can think of, like, off the top of my head. When I was in middle school, I got this opportunity through one of, like, I was in a club that was, like a volunteer club. I'm trying to think what it was called. It was, like, they called it H2O or something, but it was, like, Hawks Helping Others. Oh, that's what it was called. So, Hawks Helping Others. And I only did it, like, my, I think it was just my, was it my 8th grade year? I did it my 8th grade year.
Yeah.
And it was, like, you know, we volunteered for different things, and one of the things we got to volunteer for, which was so freaking cool, by the way, was we got to volunteer for a haunted house one year. And
that's really fun.
It was so much fun. I'd never done it before, and I haven't done it since, but, yeah, so we got to go to the Cherokee Caverns, which was only like 20 minutes from my hometown, and we got to be in a cave for like hours on end, dressed as zombies, scaring people, and it was so much fun. I love caves, by the way. Caves have never freaked me out.
Yeah.
They always actually make me feel very at home and comfortable, and I actually can't explain that very much.
I always wanted to go. Grew up in East Tennessee. I never got to go out and like, do things. Yeah, I never got, like, my parents just never took me to go.
So I've had weird experiences, because I got to do, like, a cave photo shoot years ago. You saw that, and that was so much fun, and the pictures look so good from that. And then I got to do the Hawks Helping Others with the haunted house thing, and then I also got to do, my engagement was in a cave.
Really?
Did you not know that?
No.
Casey took me to Ruby Falls.
Really?
In Chattanooga.
That's cute.
And then when we got down to the underground waterfall, he proposed. And I mean, we were getting married in like 2 months, so we already knew we were getting married. But like he never done, like he was at boot camp when we got engaged.
Yeah.
Not boot camp. He was deployed. I lied. I just lied to everyone. I meant he was deployed. He was deployed. So he was deployed and got the cameras. So he was deployed when he, you know, technically proposed to me. It was less of a proposal and more of just we both agreed. We were like, let's
like
get married.
a mutual, like, this is gonna happen.
Exactly. But he was really sweet and made sure that I had an engagement still, and that really meant a lot to me, honestly.
That's really sweet.
It was really sweet. But he got his like best man to come down and like take pictures of the whole thing. I have a small video from like me being proposed to in front of like the waterfall, and it was really, really sweet. But yeah, so we got to do that, and it's really kitschy. I love kitschy things. Like they make me so like tourist traps. I don't even know that he knew that at the time, but I love tourist traps. I'm like that person. But yeah, anyway, so cave story, back to the paranormal stuff. So when I was doing the Hawks Helping Other thing, so I was down in the cave for like a whole weekend.
Yeah.
And one of the nights we kept having balls of clay thrown at the back of our necks. And I would say that it was other people, but it was coming from a part of the cave that people weren't allowed to go into.
Like a restricted part.
Literally. And it was like, I'm not joking, like a baseball-sized clump of clay that was being thrown at the back of our necks.
That is so weird.
I got hit twice.
They were like, get out now.
It was creepy as crap. And I remember looking around and being like, hey, who threw that? They were like, threw what? And I think one other guy that I was flirting with at the time, I'm going to be honest, he was a really cute zombie. I never saw him again, but he was really sweet and cute, and I liked him. But he also got hit in the back of the neck. It was just the two of us because of where we were in the cave system. And yeah, so I got hit in the back of the neck twice. He got hit in the back of the neck once. And everyone else was like, oh, they were just falling from the ceiling. It's just clumps of clay falling from the ceiling. But they didn't come, like, down. They came at an angle.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Because it's not like we were hunched over, like we were standing up, like straight, and it was hitting the back of our necks. It didn't graze our head. It literally went boom, like from that angle.
That's weird.
It was creepy. Now I never saw anything, and I kept looking back, like into the cave system to be like, what the hell was that? You know, like hello, anyone back there? Yeah, anyone back there? Yeah, it was really, really weird. So. There's that.
That was creepy.
But that's the first thing I ever really experienced that I would categorize as paranormal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always gotten the weird vibe when you go into like old historic houses, but I also love that weird vibe because I'm creepy.
I do too.
It makes me at home. I feel like this is where I need to be. But yeah, so that was like the first thing I ever like really experienced.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and tell one more just short story before you do your next one. Just because it happened, I think this happened. So there's a story I'm going to tell about my Europe trip, and this was like my most like terrifying experience with the paranormal because it felt more like, excuse me if anyone heard me burping internally, I just I was like, okay, I can't get away with that because now I'm on audio.
That's fine.
All right, it's fine, it's okay. But anyway, so I've been a server for the last like 6 years.
Yeah. And
the first place I ever served at was called, it was a Gondolier, which was a franchise back in East Tennessee and probably other parts of the U.S., but like I have yet to meet.
East Tennessee.
Mostly East Tennessee, because like honestly I haven't heard a lot of other people talk about it that are outside of East Tennessee, so.
And they do be closing down.
They do be closing down like flies because nobody knows how to handle their franchises.
No.
I'm looking at you, my old manager. Not manager. Owner. My managers were fine. This was the owner. So I was working in this restaurant, and oh, I want to tell you something else that happened actually at this place. This place had bad juju, I'm gonna be honest. And it was in my hometown. And and you know where I'm from. It was in my hometown. And so I was working there. I worked there for 3 years before we shut down, and I was serving one night, and I was sweeping the floor, I was walking through the front of the house, and like people, like my managers had talked about like, you know, weird things happening, like some of the like auto sensor stuff would go off a lot, if we're going to be honest. Yeah. A lot more than I've seen any other place that I've worked, if we're going to be honest.
Those things are creepy when they go off and no one else is there.
And they would happen all day, like it's not like, but I was like, maybe it's just a sensor problem, because sometimes, you know, technology doesn't always work. So it is what it is, but I had managers that would talk about not wanting to be there alone at night, so they would keep a couple servers on with them, but it wasn't like a big deal, but people would talk about it sometimes.
I just feel like you're being watched.
Yeah, but I didn't honestly believe it. I was just kind of like, oh, they're trying to mess with me, because I was young at the time. I started that job when I was like 17, okay?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, they're trying to mess with me, and a lot of people there like to mess with me in a fun way. Like, we all had a good time, but it was a lot of jokes. Yeah. So I was just sweeping the floor, hanging out in the front of the house, like, we had closed down completely. It was probably maybe 10 or 11 p.m., and as I was sweeping the front of the house, I was moving into the party room from like the front door area on the left, and I heard a voice in my right hand side that said, "Hello?" And I was like,
"Hello?"
Hello? I was there. Because literally there were only 4 of us in the building left. It was me, one of the other servers, one of the back of house people closing up, and then our manager, and every single person but me that was male. It was a woman's voice that said it. Nice. It was not a man's voice. So my initial thought was that somebody had answered the phone. I hadn't heard it ring, but I was like, I was in my head the whole time, you know. Yeah. And maybe I just missed it. And I thought somebody had like picked up the phone and they had just left it off the hook, and somebody was saying hello, you know, over the phone. Because it sounded literally like it was coming from over the phone. Like staticky like that.
That's weird.
It was unsettling. I've never had this experience before this or after this. And I literally just, like, when I realized all the phones were on the hook, I was like, think, 1, 2, on the hook. And I was like, I realized that the other server wasn't even in the front of house. Like, everyone was in the back talking to the manager at the time, and they were in the complete opposite side of the restaurant. And Rob, the other server that was on with me that night that was closing, comes out and he looks at me and he goes, "Are you okay? You look like you saw a ghost." I'm not joking. He says those words. And I was like, I think I heard one. and, you know, nothing else happened. It definitely made me, like, feel very, very unsettled and, like, creeped out. Alright, so since we don't really have any sponsorships or anything like crazy like that yet, I do want to actually promote a company. I'm not being paid to promote them. I just genuinely really, really love the company. I love the person that is in charge of the company. This woman is absolutely just the sweetest. She's another Scorpio like we are. She's kind of in a very similar boat as both of us as well. I'm a military wife, and she is as well, and especially during, you know, this time right now where everything's kind of up in the air and you just never know what's going to happen next. It's always, you know, important to promote small businesses and to, you know, buy from small boutiques instead of like the large corporations. They're making a lot of money anyway. So it's always nice to help people who are really just trying to make their dream come true. So what I want to do is I want to talk about Sweet Peach Avenue. I don't know if you can see over here. This is their lovely little tag. It was so cute when it came on my sweater. This sweater I'm wearing right now is from their clothing collection. They're actually having a sale from what I understand currently. I think it's like 40% off. Don't take my word on that, but I'm pretty sure. Of her spring collection right now since we're going to fall fashion, and she just has a lot of really beautiful pieces. This one is also very affordable. A lot of her pieces are under $40. This one in particular, before shipping and tax, was $19.99. It's extremely soft, came really fast in the mail. I mean, like within like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's literally my favorite piece of clothing right now. I've been wearing it for days. I know, it really is. Now, she doesn't have a lot of like different like color selections yet, but she has just started, like literally just started, just getting off the ground. And, you know, I really want to help her a little bit. I've been like posting about her on my Facebook and stuff, but I really felt like this is a great platform to be able to say something, even if we don't have a lot of followers or people who listen to us yet, or even if we never do. I still want to promote, you know, companies that are just starting and trying their hardest, especially, like, that's such a big leap of faith. You know, to take.
It is.
This is a big leap of faith, but that's a huge, I mean, that's like a lot of investment, you know. She really worked hard.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And she's also an EMT. I mean, she's not just a military wife. She's got stuff going for her, and she's a mom, like. So I really would like to help promote her. She is absolutely lovely. Sweet Peach Avenue, thank you so much for this lovely sweater, and thank you so much for just being a wonderful person and a wonderful brand, and I hope other people are interested. If you are, I will link all of her information in our description, okay?
So, we just moved into this little area, same area as you guys, obviously.
Yeah.
And so the house that we were in before was, it was kind of weird when we first moved there.
Yeah.
Like, the house as a whole was okay.
Yeah. It was a nice house. It wasn't like a bad house.
Yeah, it was a really nice house, honestly. But once we moved in and everything, and I had stayed there for like 2 nights maybe on my own, I kind of felt weird about one room in the house. And I don't know what it was. Like, I honestly, like, I don't like...
Right.
I just got, like, bad vibes from that room.
Well, I feel like, especially with us, like, you just know when something's off.
Yeah. So, that... bad feelings from that room.
Bad vibes.
Yeah, bad vibes. So, it weirded me out, and I mentioned it to Joe, to my husband.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't really think a whole lot of it.
Right.
Because I was like, whatever, like, I'm probably just overreacting. Or,
well,
like,
you never know.
Like, yeah. So.
It's a new house, a new place, you know.
Yeah. So I mentioned it to him, and then I ended up having to go work in a different state for, like, a few months. And, yeah, Joe was at the house by himself.
Yeah.
So, he also, after I got back, mentioned that room, like, weirding him out.
Yeah.
And he's not normally, like, that kind of person.
No, not at all.
Like, he's pretty skeptical about things. And, like,
I would say very skeptical. I mean, the fact that he was freaked out about it made me really believe the situation.
That made me be like, maybe I'm not crazy.
Right.
So, he did mention that room weirding him out, which made me feel a little bit better about the situation, but also a little bit worse.
You're like, great, I'm not crazy, but oh my god, I wish I was crazy.
Yeah. So, didn't think about it that much.
Yeah.
Still. And one night I decided, like, I paint and stuff, so I was like, I'm gonna go paint in this room.
Right.
Like, the other room that we had, there was 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And that was one of the bedrooms, the room that I'm talking about.
Right.
It was across from our bedroom.
Right.
And then there was another bedroom, but I had, like, all my workout stuff in there and, like, just a bunch of other stuff in there. So I wanted a room where I could just do, like, my painting and stuff.
Right.
So that was the room that I was like, screw it, like, I'm just gonna go paint in there. Like, it's gonna be, like, my little space.
Yeah.
So I went in there, and the lights weren't turning on in there. Like, the light switch wasn't working.
Yeah.
So I had a lamp in there, so I turned the lamp on, and that worked.
Right.
And
but for some reason, the overhead light didn't.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, honestly, like, we probably should have just changed the light bulb or something. Like
I feel that.
we haven't tried to change it out yet or anything because we were never in there.
Well, and there was a lot of stuff wonky with that house too from the previous owners.
Yeah, there was. But that was probably all we needed to do, honestly. So, but anyways, I just turned the lamp on and I was in there for like maybe like 30